Alright guys, welcome to another episode here of No Holds Barred Wrestling Radio Talk Show. This is our weekly countdown episode where we count down our top moments. We have sign masters and top moves and around the wrestling world. As always, I have my co-host Phil next to me here.
This feels like take two, doesn't it?
It does feel like take two. A little bit of deja vu going on right now. And I have my Max technician over there, Brandon.
Ayo.
Ayo. Chico. We're going to start off this week with my top moments of the week. You guys can join in your general input. Coming in at number 5, we have Cesaro's domination of Swagger and clean victory over Swagger on SmackDown. A match that I thought was going to happen at Extreme Rules, but other than that, I thought this match was going to be even. Ends up just being Cesaro dominating Swagger.
It just shows how much better Cesaro is than Jack Swagger right now and how he did need to kind of move on from the Real Americans.
Yeah, the Cesaro push. The push I've been begging for since December. Brandon remembers back in December, I've been begging him to push Cesaro. I'm glad he's starting to get that push right now. Maybe not in the title picture right now, but a good feud with Jack Swagger. Hopefully by SummerSlam we'll see him in the title picture or Survivor Series. But other than that, that comes in at number 5. Coming in at number 4, crazy happening on NXT. We had JBL, GM of NXT, which is crazy. I never thought, why the hell is JBL GM of NXT? Why does NXT need a general manager in general?
It's like you were saying last week about with minor shows having general managers.
Yeah, it's weird. Remember when Mick Foley was general manager of Saturday Morning Slam?
Yep.
I can't even call that PG. You don't even need a parent to watch that show. That's rated G. G for everybody can watch this goddamn show. When I say everybody, I mean 6-year-olds to 9-year-olds.
That's where Slam City should be.
Yeah, that's where Slam City should be. The shit suck-ass show that no one wants to watch, put it on fucking Saturday night's Morning Slam. Anyways, I'm getting carried away here. What happened on NXT was JBL was backstage with Paige. Paige holding both her Divas title from WWE and her Women's title from NXT. JBL basically just saying, I'm glad your dominance right now in WWE and NXT, but unfortunately you cannot hold both titles at the same time. It's not fair to the women in NXT trying to get their title shot, so JBL stripped Paige of the NXT Women's title. And so now they're supposed to have an NXT tournament to decide the next NXT Women's Champion. Unfortunately for Paige, it sucks because she can't have both. But you know what? The Divas title has more prestige than the NXT Women's title. Paige will continue her dominance in WWE. Other than that, I think this is a good idea. Kind of weird having 2 titles for 2 brands.
It's a graduation for Paige. I mean, if you're losing the NXT title because you've won the Divas title, that's not a bad thing in my book.
Yeah. Other than that, my girl Paige getting it done. Coming in at number 3, we had Bray Wyatt's SmackDown promo this week. I think that was pretty crazy and probably one of the scariest / craziest / best promo we've seen from the Wyatts since their debut in WWE. I'd love to have seen that as a go-home promo next week on the go-home show to Extreme Rules, but I guess maybe they're having something even more planned in store for that. But that was actually a pretty good promo. I know, Phil, you love this promo. All the stuff that Bray Wyatt was doing in it.
He just seems to surprise us every week with more stuff that he comes out with.
Yeah, and just the visuals too. Like I can't decide. Like on Raw, they had the spotlights on Eric Rowan and Harper, and then on SmackDown they had them in the cage, and just some cool stuff to watch during Bray Wyatt's promos, and then just some cool stuff to listen to because Bray Wyatt has there's so many hidden double meanings in his promos to listen to, and just a good promo Bray Wyatt is.
And how he gets the crowd to go along singing. He's got the whole world in his hands, and the crowd actually joining in. I'm surprised for SmackDown they didn't cut that out. Usually they cut out crowd noises, but they actually let the live filter go, and the whole crowd was singing along with Bray Wyatt, which is pretty sweet. But coming in at number 2 on my top moments of the week, we had the Shield's destruction of SmackDown. Basically just kicking SmackDown a new asshole from all the boring crap we've been seeing the last couple weeks.
Thank God.
Thank you, Shield. This should be signs we should see everywhere on Raw this week. Thank you, Shield. Shield just basically kicking the crap. They were supposed to be an 11-on-3 tag team match, handicap later on in the night. Then we end up seeing the Shield kicking half of them. They're kicking half their asses all through the show, seeing beating up on 3MB backstage, triple powerbombing Fandango off the stage. attacking Swagger after his match, attacking Curtis Axel backstage before the actual main event.
And Brad Maddox.
For some reason.
And for some reason, destroying Brad Maddox, even though he had nothing to do with the match. But anyways, just another spot filler to show how dominant the Shield is and put over against Evolution. And coming in at number 1 moment of the week, guys, we have Kane's return.
Yes.
And his triple tombstones of death, basically, to Daniel Bryan. Like the 3 most crucial tombstones I'll have ever seen in a long time. This is classic Kane right here. Vintage Kane, as Michael Cole would say. We had a tombstone on the outside on the ground. We had a tombstone on top of the steel steps and on top of the table.
This is like crazy vintage Kane. I was half expecting him to set Daniel Bryan on fire there for a second.
Yeah, maybe announce the Ring of Fire match for Extreme Rules.
Yeah.
It's nice to see Kane back, actually relevant again, not corporate Kane with his wife beater and his,
wrestling his wife beater in khakis.
Pants.
Oh my god, that was terrible. But I'm liking this character. I guess they figured out because for a while they were talking to Kane, I guess, backstage, guys, and saying, well, if you're not going to continue the corporate Kane, we're not have nothing else to do with you. So I'm guessing Kane's got back in the gym and said, all right, bring me back into the Kane and I'll wrestle from time to time. Maybe we'll see. We'll see after Extreme Rules how far he goes with this character, right? We'll see.
Hey guys, welcome to this week's Sign Masters, where I just list some of my favorite signs that I saw in the crowds in this week's show. Unfortunately, there were not that many good signs on SmackDown, as expected. I mean, Raw is the live show, it's the flagship show, so you expect more signs on that one. Shout out to the group of Greek fans in the front row this week. They had their Greek flag up there, and they had a sign that said Gyromania. And we also had Real Greek American. I guess that's a shout out to I guess it's Jack Swagger now, although I'm guessing maybe that guy's a Cesaro fan, because Cesaro's got a bunch of momentum right now. We had a random sign, "Have you seen my baseball?" We had, this is a bit of an interactive sign. It's simple. It only said swing on it, but the guy spun it around as Cesaro spins his opponents around.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
I love that.
A bit of interactivity, and he was also doing it when Cesaro did his swing this week, so that was pretty cool. We had the Meep Moop, which was really random.
Meep Moop? What does that even mean?
I have no clue, but there was a drawing of John Cena on that sign as well. So
John Cena Meep Moop.
Yeah, I'll have to Google that. Also, when Stephanie came out at the beginning, someone held up a huge sign that said "Steph's kid is mine" right up to her. Steph's kid is mine. I'm guessing Triple H was in the crowd for that segment. I'm hoping. And then we also had Evolution greater than Evolution.
Oh, that was great.
Yes.
3 weeks I would have agreed with it, but now that it seems that Emma is going into Jillian Hall status with her.
My God.
Jillian Hall was a bad singer. Emma is a bad dancer. Hey, at least Jillian got a Divas title reign, but it lasted less than 2 minutes.
Emma has way more potential than what they're using her for.
My girl Emma needs to actually wrestle, because she could be up there with Paige right now.
We'll see about that.
Let's hope that this week's SmackDown is the end of the Fandango and Layla versus Marella and Emma, and hopefully Emma can move on to better things. Maybe she can be the next in line against Paige after Tamina.
I hope so.
Or maybe she'll go against Tamina, because Tamina might win the Divas title. You'd like that, wouldn't you, Kyle?
Yeah, I would.
You'd like Tamina to win?
No.
But yeah, Emma versus Paige would be nice, because I've seen their match at Arrival on NXT, and that was pretty good, and we know that they can go in the ring. So that's all for this week's Signs. Thanks for listening.
Alright guys, another installment of my top 5 moves of the week. Coming in at number 5 from Raw, RVD with one of his vintage split-legged moonsaults.
That was sick.
It was nice to see him bring that move back.
Vintage RVD.
Mm-hmm. Then number 4 on main event was Biggie countered my boy Alberto Del Rio's tornado DDT attempt into the big ending, which was... that
was actually pretty nice to see. It was a great counter into an ending of a match. Sort of a different sort of big ending we haven't seen from Biggie yet.
Mm-hmm. Nice to see him do some different stuff. Coming in at number 3 was Curtis Axel. I never thought I'd see this from SmackDown.
Better than perfect.
Hitting the Hangman's Facebuster for the win.
Finisher.
Yeah. And it was just nice to see him bring back that finisher. I know he's got the perfect plex or whatever as well.
What about the McGillicudder?
Where's
the McGillicudder?
But yeah, it was nice to see him actually use the finisher, not get jobbed all the
It
time.
doesn't make any sense. Better than perfect. The hell
Is he
that?
saying that he's better than his dad?
Yeah, it's either that or he's just. Duh.
And then coming in at number 2, also from SmackDown, was Cesaro's springboard off the second rope into a spinning uppercut.
God,
on
did you
Jack
say
Swagger.
SmackDown?
Yeah.
Oh, are you sure you said SmackDown? I don't know about that. But anyways, that move.
It was unbelievable. Like, I've never seen something like that, especially from Cesaro. He's a big guy,
Cesaro is probably one of the greatest talents right now, and the greatest franchise player that WWE has right now, and they're using him to his potential right now, and hopefully he gets put in the title picture soon, because he's sort of going a little bit off topic, off branded here. He's sort of the Magnus Magnus from TNA. He's the Magnus in WWE. He's that star that's gonna have future potential and have future title shots in the future, because he's just overall all good. Like, Cesaro is perfect. He's a perfect wrestler.
He's better than perfect.
He's better than why is he not wearing that shirt? Curtis Axel, get that damn shirt off.
No,
Get back
King
to
of
being
Swing
Michael
shirt, King of
McGillicuddy.
Swing.
Get back to being jobbed every goddamn week.
And then coming in at number 1, from SmackDown, again, you heard that right, SmackDown.
What? What is this?
It was the triple
What is this?
powerbomb by the Shield to Fandango off the
okay.
entrance stage.
That was insane. That has to be number 1 for a couple weeks now on SmackDown. Because other than that, I don't think anything good is going to happen on SmackDown after that. That was just, it's vintage WWE sort of doing these hardcore moves off the stage, using the stage to its advantage. Like back in the day, we used to see like Jeff Hardy, Shane McMahon do all these crazy shit. Actually, one here is a vintage moment, if anyone does remember this. Undertaker last riding Muhammad Hassan through the stage, like removing the stage gate and then last riding him through the stage onto the cement floor. That was crazy. I still will never forget that, because I remember watching it with one of our buddies here, and our jaws dropped. It was just, I couldn't believe we were actually witnessing that.
Yep. And, 3 of my top 5 moves this week were from SmackDown, so big ups to SmackDown for stepping it up this week.
Props to SmackDown. You're good on the moves, lacking on the signs, guys.
Yeah. And the
What
opposite,
is
Yeah,
that?
laughing on the signs.
the opposite with Raw. Raw had great signs and not so great moves.
What sort of fan participation was that? You guys had no signs. How do you go to a live TV, well, not live, but a taped TV event and not bring signs that you want shown on TV? That, just start trolling people.
I guess they don't want trolling on SmackDown. I guess they want to keep it PG.
I guess not. Alright, on to our last segment of the show. It's around the wrestling world. News and rumors going around in the wrestling world. Brandon, what do you have for us to start?
Start off with some sad news. Dan O'Brien's father passed away this week. Kept Dan O'Brien away from SmackDown and other live events he was scheduled for this week. So, condolences go with to Brian and his family there.
And it's a tragic accident for Daniel Bryan. Such sad. Now you can see on Raw he was tearing up as he was making his entrance. And they pulled him off SmackDown. There was a live event near us in Toronto on Friday, and I guess he was pulled from that too. I guess just giving him a grievance week.
Probably the funeral service and stuff like that.
Yeah. But other than that, anything else there, Brandon?
I've got TMZ recently caught up with Diamond Dallas Page in New York, and they asked him about Jake Roberts. DDP said that the reports came back and they've gotten most of the cancer out, but they have to go back in and get a little more out of his leg. It's not life-threatening, and he should make a full recovery. Good to hear for Jake Roberts.
Yeah, good for him with his health issues, and just hearing him at the Hall of Fame and how bad it's gotten for him. But that's good to hear from Jake Roberts.
And then lastly, last week I touched up on Ted DiBiase Jr. trying to raise money for a documentary about his father, $1 Million Man. They were seeking $30,000. They have reached that goal. They've raised $30,000 and still going. So good for Ted DiBiase. They're trying to get this Price of Fame documentary out. So good on them for raising that money.
Yeah, your boy
Everybody
Ted
that donated.
Your boy Teddy.
Yep.
DiBiase posse. Let's get into some news around here. We have Cesaro, who actually used the Miracla theme at a recent live event, which is interesting. Maybe that's a preview of what we're going to hear on Raw. Maybe they're testing the waters out, see how fans react to it. Because, to be honest, come on, guys, his new theme does suck ass.
The
It's
siren
terrible.
and generic rock riffs doesn't work out very well.
It's garbage.
Probably everyone backstage agreed, yeah, that's not a good theme for Cesaro.
His theme sucks ass. Other than that, we have a update on AJ Lee. I guess she's returning in the middle of May when WWE goes on the European tour. Coincidentally, AJ Lee's return date is set on the exact day CM Punk's contract expires.
Interesting.
Which is a head turner a little bit. Is WWE planning on bringing back CM Punk? Because that's almost around that's after Extreme Rules, and it's getting closer to the time towards Payback, which is in Chicago. Or maybe they're gonna renegotiate his contract to have him, have some time off and wrestle in WWE as well, like RVD's kind of contract, like a part-time contract. I guess we'll have to see. I guess it is turning some heads. I've been reading lately that the people are wondering what's going to come of this. Other than that, that's when AJ Lee returns. Also, as you've seen on NXT, Triple H announced a new pay-per-view or 2-hour special for NXT at the end of May. It's going to be called NXT Takeover. I guess we'll see what NXT plans to do with that. Maybe we'll have some WWE people go into NXT and then they'll be taking over. Or maybe, vice versa. We'll see what happens.
I believe Tyson Kidd, he's challenging Adrian
Neville,
Neville, right?
That. Tyson Kidd is challenging Adrian Neville for the NXT title belt, which should be a good match. Both good superstar caliber wrestlers. Tyson Kidd, like to see him back now after that 2-year hiatus from his injury. Getting back into it. Maybe just, starting out in NXT, see how he does there, and then WWE will plan to use him in the future. I guess we'll have to see with that. Also, we have Ric Flair.
Yes.
Guys, the Nature Boy is returning Monday night. Hasn't been officially confirmed by WWE, but there are sources everywhere saying that Ric Flair is for sure going to be on Monday Night Raw this week. Whether or not he is going to play part in the Shield Evolution story, I see him. That's the only thing they could bring him back for. Well, why else bring him back?
Makes sense.
That's good, though. Phil, what do you got for news this week?
Yeah, so basically, Evolution and the Shield, they're throwing one word a lot, and that word is war. And as we all know, stable feuds back in WCW, they used to end in War Games match, which WWE released a DVD for not too long ago. And basically, I've explained it before, but I'll explain it again. A War Games match requires 2 rings side by side, and basically a standard steel cage, except with a roof on it, surrounding both rings. And basically, it's an elimination-style tag team match with the entrants from both teams entering one at a time. Well, like one team at a time. And basically, apparently the only layout for that match, like the only arena that can have that layout is the Tampa Bay Times Forum. And that's Battleground, I believe, in July.
That is Battleground. That's where it's being held.
Makes sense. Battleground, War Games. I mean, everything's adding up as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I don't see why the Tampa Bay Times Forum is the only arena that can hold 2 rings. I mean, can't any arena do that? I mean, basically it just means less seats, but
yeah.
No, it means they have the seating for the floor seats. They're able to do that with 2 rings.
Okay,
a lot of the places won't have room to have the seating. Proper seating as well as the 2 rings.
Okay, yeah, but I'm just saying, yeah, that makes sense, I guess, and yeah, I mean Battleground, War Games, and everything makes sense, I guess.
Interesting. Other than that, Phil, if you want to touch base with me on this, they've announced the pre-show plans for Extreme Rules. It will be the tag team title match, Ryback against the Usos. I know they are having I've also read that they are going to have a tag team title match this Monday night on Raw, guys. It is going to be Ryback against the Usos. I see that being a sort of not even a match starting off. Maybe they're going to build
a DQ possibly.
Yep, and then they're going to build for maybe a no disqualification match at Extreme Rules in the pre-show for the tag team titles. I think that's kind of a good idea for a pre-show match. It sucks that.
For some reason, tag team title matches and even number 1 contendership matches are being relegated to pre-show status. It's unfortunate because I thought the tag team division was being revitalized.
You know what? I don't even think they should have a pre-show in general. I'm not liking the pre-show. You're kind of downgrading and downplaying some matches that could potentially be mid-card pay-per-view matches. Why even have a pre-show? Maybe if you're going to have the pre-show, just have the panel talk. That's all you need to do. You don't need to actually have a match in the pre-show. Just have the panel talking. Because now you're going to have everything put on the network, and half the people are not even going to be able to see the pre-show anymore because you're not putting it on WWE YouTube anymore. So don't even have a match. Just do your little panel talk with the legends, people coming back for like one day. That's all you need to do for the pre-show.
Yeah, and I was expecting to maybe see a title change because Ryback, they've been winning so many matches lately.
That's going to be my vote on Extreme Rules, is Ryback winning the tag team titles.
I wasn't so sure after, because Curtis Axel, he got ambushed by the Shield apparently at SmackDown. They didn't even show it, but I'm guessing he'll be recovered by Extreme Rules. So I'm guessing probably we'll see a title change at Extreme Rules in the pre-show.
Yeah. On some lighter news, I guess Hulk Hogan will be WWE is going to Japan in July. The weekend of July 11th and 12th, they're going to Japan for a live tour. And I guess Hulk Hogan will be there going on the live tour, and it'll be the first time Hulk Hogan will be there in over 10 years. I researched this, and I guess Hulk Hogan, last time he was in Japan, he was in New Japan Pro Wrestling in 1980 to 1985. For what reason, I didn't really get into that, but that's just a little bit of news for that. The last bit of news I have is pretty interesting. I guess they're saying now that Undertaker did not want the streak to end in general. Plans were changed, I guess, a few days prior to WrestleMania 30. Vince McMahon, I guess, changed his mind because of Undertaker's health. And I guess a close friend of the Undertaker said that he was talked into it to ending the streak, and he didn't argue and he just accepted it. Wow. I mean, that's pretty big news for what everyone's seen. Basically, the most shocking moment in WWE in a long time.
To change it 2 days or 3 days before the actual event.
Yeah, and forcing Undertaker to end the streak, like, come on, that's like.
Well, I mean, Vince McMahon, he decided that because of Undertaker's health, right?
Yeah, but
and
still.
Vince McMahon, I don't know, he might have been correct because Undertaker suffered a concussion in said
Yeah,
match.
But with that match that we just seen, you could have had Undertaker, that third F5 didn't need to be done. If Undertaker had a tombstone him at that point, I think everyone would have been happy with that match, because at that point the match was 20 minutes too long. People were starting to get bored. If Undertaker just tombstone there, ended it, continued the streak, recovered from the tombstone he did suffer in the match, then you know what? That would have been perfect. They didn't need to end the streak. This was wrongfully done by WWE, and then have Brock Lesnar leave right after that, and probably you're not going to see him until SummerSlam. That's just misuse of what probably the biggest thing to talk about at WrestleMania for years on end that we won't be talking about anymore, because the streak is not. It's over.
I'm thinking Vince McMahon. He's just.
He's getting senile. Okay?
No, I'm thinking.
He's getting senile.
One thing about Vince McMahon is he does care about the health of his workers. I mean, they work really hard, but if they need time off, he will give them time off. And Undertaker, he's just seeing that he's just breaking his body every
Takes
year.
him a year to recover for the next year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, and like he's only wrestling one match a year, and the thing is, maybe Vince McMahon's just saying, okay, it's time to stop trying. It's time to stop relying on Undertaker every year as a money match for WrestleMania. It's time to move on. I mean, they've ushered in the reality era, and like
well, then have him retire with the streak. Have him have a retirement match and have him keep the streak forever. You don't have to have him return every year. Just have him retire with the streak. Over. I think people will be happy if he had retired with the streak undefeated. Or if you're going to have someone defeat the streak, have it be John Cena.
Or have someone up and coming, maybe even, like, this is a stretch, but Cesaro, Bray Wyatt, somebody like that who is coming into their own as an established superstar in next main event.
Yeah, make a name for themselves. Yeah. Brock Lesnar does not need to make a name for himself. He has everything he's done in the past that he wanted to do. He does not need to be the one to break the streak. That was terribly done by WWE. But other than that, that's the last bit of news we have for around the wrestling world. Guys, be sure to tune in tomorrow for our Raw review. Be sure to tune in. The Raw should be a good one, the go-home show for Extreme Rules. Other than that, be sure to hit that like button, leave a comment if you like, subscribe, follow us at NHBWR on Twitter. I'm your host, Kyle, as always, co-host Phil, and match technician Brandon.
Better than perfect.
Better than perfect.